Hello everybody on YouTube land, and here we are. You can see I'm tired. Oh boy. I've anyway, I have here. I wasn't going to do this video, but I thought, well, why not? God, I look like a badger. Oh dear, I must be tired. Anyway, I have the top 10 worst movies of 2019. I was thinking about it earlier that there's been some films this year that I really didn't like too much. And rarely do I do this, but we actually walked out on a few of them. These are in no order. Now, these are the films that I didn't like. Doesn't mean that they're bad films. Doesn't mean that they're not, if you like these films, that's fine. I'm happy that you like them. But me personally, I didn't like any of these movies. And I'm just going to go down the top 10 worst movies of 2019. I'll do this one quick because I'm tired. You can probably tell from the look on me in this video. It's been a long day. So, number 10, Cold Pursuit with Liam Neeson. This is more of a disappointment than a really bad film. I liked the first sort of 20 minutes or so. I thought it was quite a good start. I thought, yeah, I'm into this. And then it took a nosedive when Liam Neeson was off the screen for about 40 minutes. Well, maybe it's a bit of an exaggeration, but he was hardly in it in the middle. And I thought it was a bit of a downer, and it was a bit boring, it was a bit bland and generic and a bit weird. And it was a disappointment. Number 9 is Cats. Now, I'm going to have to say that the hatred for Cats is OTT. Is it a good film? No, it's not a good film, really. The effects are terrible. The story is thin. But what is good in Cats? Some of the performances, the tap dancing, the choreography, some of the singing, some of the music is good. So not everything in this movie is completely bad. And I think that if you can just go with it and accept for all its weirdness, there can be some enjoyment in it. And not everybody's hating this movie. I've spoken to many people who actually enjoyed it. I don't think it's a good film, but I think that it's not a bad adaptation for a film based on a stage show that is very popular. But I do think it is a bit weak, and I do think that it's weird, it's odd. It's not the worst film of the year in my opinion, and it's not the worst film of the bloody decade. It's just a very bland film. Some things are just best left on stage. That's my thing about it. It's not the worst film ever made or nothing like that, but I've seen far worse. Holmes and Watson. Terrible comedy. Some really bad jokes. A couple of good ideas, a couple of good moments, but overall, it's a shit film. It happened on Bleak Street or Beale Street. I think it's called Beale Street. This was like a critically acclaimed film. I was bored. The first half an hour was great, and after that I was bored. But I don't think it's a bad film at all. It's a very good film. It just didn't do anything for me personally. Hustlers. People consider this to be a masterpiece. People consider this to be one of the best films of the year and some of the best acting, whatever. To me, this is about a bunch of girls wobbling their boobs and butts, getting men into the room, taking all their money, and then on to the next one. And it just seemed to be so repetitive. It was so boring, and the acting was fine. There's not really any bad acting in it, but the writing was poor, and I felt seedy watching it. I didn't find it enjoyable. And no, it's not a man-bashing movie, and I can understand why people do like this movie, but me personally, I was bored for most of the film, and it was very repetitive, very almost predictable, and I just didn't give a shit. And I know you're not meant to root for these characters, but it was just like these girls, they do the stripping, and then they get a guy in, they drug him, or not drug him, or get him drunk, take his money, and then leave him out to dry. And then they go on to the next bloke, and things get better and better for them, for money-wise, and then eventually, of course, it all catches up to them, which is very predictable. So, very predictable, boring fluff that's very repetitive. was not for me. But if you liked it, I know there's a few people out there I know and some friends of mine who really liked it. I'm glad that you liked it, but just me personally, no, I did not like it. Moving on swiftly. Late Night. Late Night is a film with Emma Thompson, who's a very good actress, and there's some other good actors in it as well. But this film was meant to be comedy, and it wasn't funny. It was meant to be dramatic, and it wasn't even appealing. It was very slow. There were some good moments, but we walked out about halfway because we both got fed up with it. It was just, it didn't go anywhere. The Hustle, a remake of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, starring the wonderful and I can't think of her name. It's completely gone out of my head. Oh, well, the girl from Les Mis and The Intern and Batman Night, The Dark Knight Rises, etc. Somebody tell me down below who it is. I'm going to kick myself. Anyway, so yeah, The Hustle was like a really bad remake. Every single joke from the original movie, I didn't like this one very much at all. There were a couple of funny-ish bits, but overall it was a very disappointing movie. Anne Hathaway, I don't have to worry now. I just remember it. Very pretty young lady, but no, this film did not do it for me. Countdown, a horror movie. Not really. Well, kind of. It's basically about this mobile phone app that tells you when you're gonna die, and you get like a downtime time. It sounds like a good idea for a movie, and it really didn't really do anything for me. It was so bland. It was generic. It was dull. It's a good idea thrown away, and it's been done before. Final Destination and all that. It's been done better, and it really ended like pointlessly. It was so predictable again. Not awful, not the worst film or horror movie ever made. There's been far worse, but this, my God, I was so bored with it. Ah, well, never mind. Playing with Fire. I did mention this the other day. We went to see it, and it was so unfunny and embarrassing. And the worst movie for me this year. Now, I did number one is a particular film in particularly. And What Men Want. It's kind of like a female version of What Women Want. And this had no laughs. I mean, we walked out again. It was poo. It was... I mean, a lot of people love it, but we went in and I was so bored to tears, and I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't find any of the jokes funny. I thought the acting was poor. I thought the direction was poor. And when you're in the cinema in a comedy and nobody is laughing, and people are walking out every 10 minutes, you know you're in for a bad one. So yes, that's my worst film of 2019. Now, if you liked any of these films, I'm sorry that I've just shat on them. I'm glad that you liked them, like I said earlier, but I personally just didn't like this list. I can't help it. I just am what I am, and we all like different things. So, but you know, it took a while for me to write this list because I don't really like to focus on negative things on my channel. I really don't. But sometimes you need to let it off steam sometimes, and you need to let the world know, or I feel like I need to get it off my chest and say, I didn't like this. But there we go. I mean, it's been a great year for film. We've had some really good movies, and 2020 is looking like it's going to be good as well. We've got 1917 and Ghostbusters, and there's just so much coming next year, so fingers crossed. I mean, we haven't got Star Wars next year. We won't have that until 2022, where we're meant to be getting one every year. The Mandalorian is a fantastic series. That is the future of Star Wars. It's going to be on Disney Plus, and I can't recommend enough you guys watch The Mandalorian when it comes out. Best TV series of this year, along with I really loved Stranger Things season 3 as well. And we've got Anthony dropping this Friday coming as well. Season 3, the final season, so that's coming as well. This is all TV stuff. Anyway, rabbiting on as usual. Happy New Year, everybody. Take care, see you soon, and bye for now.